Yay! Good morning, fitting rooms, and welcome to a Sunday morning slow stretch. So really looking forward to this new class. Today's class will have a little bit of a flow at the beginning because it's obviously cooler. You may have the heating on, so your house might be a little bit warmer, but still the coldness from outside makes us need to move our body a little bit more to warm up to some deep stretch. But the flow will be slow and it will be gentle, so it's accessible to everybody. I'll always offer modifications when you need them. Some days you'll need them, some days you'll need a stronger practice. Just make sure you're honouring whatever your body cries for today when you step on the mat. Enjoy. Any questions, always throw them my way. So if you start seated on your mat with a crossed legs, if you can, any other position will work as well. And also, if you have a block or a cushion, you could sit on the edge of that. Just rest your hands wherever they feel most natural. So it could be in your lap with the back of the hand into the palm of the other hand. It could be on the thighs or on the knees. Either way, just allow your shoulders to soften and melt down the back without force or push. Just gentle release. You can either have the eyes closed or open. If you choose the open option, have them fixed on a point maybe below, just to help a small amount of squinting to block out the external light. So with the eyes closed, it's a lot easier to drop or draw the attention within. And that's our aim. At the beginning and at the end especially, but throughout the practice, whenever you can. Really slow the body once we've held the posture, there's the opportunity to go back internal, so feeling how it feels in the muscles, in the bones, in the joints, and enjoying whatever comes up, unless it's pain. And when it's pain, you just slowly release out. Just as slow as you come into these poses, we want to come out of them too. And you can just rest and wait for the next pose. And if you ever have questions, why does this hurt or feel weird in this position, just send me a picture and I can hopefully help with that. So make sure you know that I'm always here to help and support and nurture your practice as you begin your yoga journey, which is a lifelong journey, which is amazing. We're always learning, hopefully. Anyway, so now once you've felt the body, felt the position, sunk into it a little bit more, we've noticed the breath. So those deep breaths in and out through your nose. It's Samavritti yoga, means same length inhalations as exhalations. It's a breathing technique. Very simple. You could count, or you could just guess. Same length inhales as exhales. Trying to bring balance. And symmetry to the breathing pattern. So now once you've connected to the breath, you've felt the body, we're going to start to move it. So open the eyes, let the light travel back in. I'm going to do a little side stretch. These are great in the morning, but we'll feel them quite strongly. So if you bring your right fingertips out to the right, and then lift your left arm up to the sky, inhale. And then exhale, there's a little lean to that right side. With that lean, you'll feel the stretch on the left. If that's enough, you'd stay there. Some of you might want to even walk away that right hand and get a little bit more of a stretch. Some of you may even be able to bend the elbow. It's early on though, and bring it down towards the floor. Take one more deep breath in as you come up. Slowly release the left fingertips down and then right arm up. Exhale, leaning to your left. And remember, throughout the poses, throughout the practice, there'll be a particular gaze that will work for your body. So sometimes looking forward is great. Sometimes looking up is good, but it's stronger. And sometimes down. So make sure it feels good wherever you're looking. Last few breaths here before we come out, and then we'll take a twist. So inhaling, releasing. Back down. You're going to twist to your right, so left hand across, right hand behind. Sit tall as you breathe in, both sit bones grounded. And then as you breathe out, look over to your right. Just a couple of breaths there, breathing into the spine and the movement around there. And then look forward, other side. So left fingertips behind and right across. Inhale, sit tall, and exhale, look to your left. And breathe into the space created around the belly and the spine. And then look forward to release. Last thing we'll do, seated, hands in front of you, and walk them away. I've got the opportunity here to slide them, which feels quite nice. If you've got that kind of carpet or rug that you could do that, great. If not, just walk them away. And you want to keep your sit bones grounded. So some of you may just be here, and that's enough. Press into the hands, press your sit bones down into the floor, and others will be even further forward. Doesn't matter as long as you feel like you're rooting your sit bones down and you're pressing firmly into the hands. Good, and then when you're ready, slowly come up. And sliding or walking the hands. Now come on to hands and knees. So hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Spread the fingers. As you inhale, drop the belly down and lift the heart and gaze. Then as you exhale, round the spine, press into the hands. Keep that flowing, so inhale, going into our cow, dropping the belly down, so really letting go of the belly as you lift the heart and gaze. And then the exhale will take you into the complete opposite movement for the pelvis and for the shoulders. So inhale, drop the belly down and lift your heart and gaze. And then exhale, round the spine, bring the belly in as you gaze towards the belly. And then one more. As you exhale, round the spine, pressing into the hands. And then come to neutral. You're going to bring your right foot back and get a nice stretch into the leg. It's good to just breathe in and out along that space, along the leg, back of the leg. And then from there, you're going to turn the toes to face the long edge. Your opposite knee or leg comes at a little angle out behind you. Then you could lift your right arm up. Inhale. And then exhale, reach it forward. Get that stretch all the way from the foot to the fingertips. Pressing firmly into every point of contact. So your left hand, left knee, right foot. And then exhale, release the hand down slowly. Bring that right knee back. Do the same on the other side. Left leg steps back. Take a nice stretch before you move anywhere else. This feels hopefully good. All the way from the top of the glute to the heel. And then that right leg out at an angle. That left foot down and right up. Left arm up. And then if you want to feel that more in the sideways, you can reach that top arm forward. And remember, you can choose a gaze that works for your neck and your body. So you can play around until you find that one. And then bringing that hand down, both knees down. So the next thing is a little flow. It's very gentle, and it takes a couple of times to feel natural. But if you just sit your hips back to your heels and bring your forehead down and come into child's pose. So it starts in a lovely place. Child's pose, just feeling, reaching the hands slightly forward, so you're activating the arms, lifting them away from the floor. Now, it's a little bit of a slide. I've got a really slidey mat, so it helps, but you want to, you're going to slide on the inhale, so bring your forearms onto the floor, keep your chest as low towards the ground as you can, and you're sliding forward and into this baby cobra. Yeah, so it's not high, it's nice and low. Then the exhale, you need to use a little bit of strength as you press into the hands and then round the spine into cat and then back into child. Yeah, so we'll do it again. So inhale, forearms down, slide the chest along the floor as close to it as possible. Baby cobra. And then exhale, press into the hands, rounding the spine through a very brief cat into child. So really slow breathing. Inhale, slide forward across the mat into baby cobra. And then exhale, press away from the floor, belly in, round spine and find cat. Let's just do it 2 more times. It starts to feel more natural the more you do it. Inhale and exhale. Last one. And we'll finish in child's pose. So inhale, slide across the floor, baby cobra. And exhale, round through child. Cat into your child. This time allow the arms to rest down. Just take a few breaths there. Well done. And this will take us in to our first and only real downward dog. So we're not going to stay here long. It's a little bit activating, so we're trying to get that heat built so we can hold our deep stretches. So if you tuck the toes and lift the hips, find that upside down V. Remember, if this pose is new, have a bend in the knees. Keep the spine straight and long, reach the shoulder blades out to the lateral side, so the outside of the body. And those that like to walk the dog, there's that option, bending one knee, straightening the opposite. Doing that a couple of times on each side. And then look forward, you're going to creep the feet towards the front of the mat. And when you get there, have about hip distance with your feet, bend the knees and just hang. Whether that means the hands are connected to the floor for a bit more stability, so you've got 4 points of contact, or you could hold opposite elbows, so you're only grounded off, or you have your foundations as your feet. So really press into all 4 corners and just let your upper body hang. A good way to test it is to check if you give a yes or a no, the head should feel smooth and fluid and relaxed. If it's jerky, just see if you can drop the weight, make yourself heavy, and then roll up to stand. So keep the knees bent, slowly vertebrae by vertebrae, come up to standing. Okay, and then shoulder roll. The next thing I'm going to do is quite new for this class. We haven't done it before. It's my new favourite warming up practice, and it has bases in yoga called Kundalini. Kundalini is a little bit more modern, but it's based on a very spiritual system. So, but the best thing about it is very physical. It's very physical. So it's very energizing. It builds the heat in the body quickly. I won't talk about it too much, but if you turn the feet out to a horse stance, so the toes are about a 45-degree angle, you might need a little bend in the knees. This one, you may need to go really slowly, and I'll show it slow. And I need to get my left and right's right. So if you lead, you reach your arms up. You're going to lead with the right arm, and it's going to come down to the left. So it's going to come all the way down. That left arm is still up, and then it sweeps across the floor and then comes up. So then you do that again. So it's like a windmill. It's 2 alternating circles. So the right arm comes down, sweeps across the floor. Left arm then comes down and up. Right? And then just do it a couple of times. I'm doing it slow, just in case it didn't make sense what I was saying. And you're more visual, so you need to watch. And just do it a few times. And the thing is, it doesn't really matter It's about moving the body. It should feel good. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. But it should. I haven't met anyone that this doesn't yet. And you can use any gaze point, and you can go slow and then move fast once you start to get it, right? And we're going in this one direction. I like to look up as I come up, and then as I come down, look down. It's like start to feel that kind of circular energy motion. And do it one more time in this direction, and then we'll change directions. So, left arm leading, going over to the right, sweeping across the floor, then the right arm does the same and lifts. So this nice circular windmill, I like to think of. And do it slowly until you feel you have it. And don't worry, it's not really about getting it perfect. It's making it your own, but moving, right, in this movement. If you start to get dizzy, of course, stop. Don't forget to be breathing. I did mention it, but it's very good to remind. And then just do 2 more, okay, in this direction. Any speed that works for you. And then we're just going to stop. You're going to stop and just bring the hands to rest in the belly. You can heel toe the feet, walk them closer together just for more stability. And just notice what's changed. I find it so energizing. The breath, my breath has started to quicken, so I know that I've built some heat. Slowing down that breath by lengthening the exhale. At least 3 times just to really start to slow down. And then releasing. Okay, so I reckon we've built up some heat that we can start to, just going to check that we can start, yeah, so about 20 minutes in. We're now going to hold the poses. The first one, there's 2 options. Taking the feet back to the position they were in and finding goddess pose. So goddess, the knees are tracking in line with the toes. You have the shins at a 90-degree angle. You can either have the hands on the hips or at the heart. It's not easy to hold. And you're sat, if you saw it from the side, you're sat in your chair, but your spine is, you're really tall in the spine. Kind of head up. So yeah, it's less of a chair position in the spine. And those that can go a little bit deeper, you'll take your malasana. So feet are slightly closer together, but the same angle with the feet, and therefore the knees tracking in line with the toes. Hands at your heart. This is our first holding pose. So whichever one you're in, it will be a challenge to hold it. So a minute is absolutely enough. If not, maybe too much. If it's too much, then just release. And we're all going to release today by straightening the legs and reaching the arms up, coming to a standing position. So just hold, maybe close the eyes, draw the attention to what you feel physically in your body as you take this pose. And as long as it's not pain, can you stay with it? Notice if it changes as you breathe. I always find that if I start to breathe deeper in the harder, challenging poses, it starts to feel easier and it feels less of a challenge. So notice if that's the same for you. Does just bringing your awareness to your breath in those challenging postures help? I reckon we've got about 2 or 3 deep breaths left here. And I didn't say that those of you here in Malasana, the spine is straight as possible and the crown of the head is facing the sky. On the next inhale, we're going to come up. So whether you're in Goddess or Malasana, we'll do the same. So straightening the legs, reaching the arms up, uses a little bit of a strength as you press into the heels and then release the arms out and down. Well done. Shoulder roll. We're going to find the floor and find a nice wide leg child's pose. So we're still working on the same line, the inner thigh line. So if you come down onto your knees and bring the big toes to touch and the knees nice and wide apart, and then sit the hips into the heels. Some of you won't get anywhere cushions or blankets or anything underneath the knees and the heels, just to kind of sit on there to make it a bit more comfy. And if you are relaxing down on the heels, then you can come down onto the forehead. And again, if you can't, you can make a pillow with the hands, or even fists with the hands, and holding it here. So we're going to go from here into a twist. So in fact, we'll all be able to, it just depends how deep you go into it. So if you come up onto the hands, you're going to slide your right arm through the left arm. You're going to come onto your right shoulder and right side of the head. If you can't comfortably, you can rest on a cushion or a block or whatever you've got around you. And those of you that want to go a little bit deeper, you would take that opposite arm, so it'll be your left arm, and take it behind and see if you can grab that right thigh. Back of the back is fine as well, onto the right hip or right side of the back. And then just breathe wherever you are. You've got a lot of things working here, the inner line opening. You've got this twist in the spine and release on that shoulder. So if there's pain, of course, slowly come out. Otherwise, can you hold here and breathe? And then to release, you're going to bring that left hand back. You're going to use it to press into that hand and then slide yourself back. Take your time. If you need a neutralizing child's pose in between before you go on to the other side, then just reach the arms forward or come onto the hands or the fists. And then the same on the other side. So come up onto the hands, arms away from the floor, and slide your left arm through. See if you can go onto the left shoulder, left side of the head. If not, use a cushion, a blanket, a block. And then the option to take that right arm behind the back. You can either rest on the back or the hip, or see if you can grab that left thigh. And then just breathe. So this is a lovely twist, because you're also working your inner thighs and groin, so that lovely hip opening stretch. I hope you can hear me. I'll bring my head a bit more neutral, but yeah. Wherever you are, just breathe. To release, the right hand comes down, pressing into that hand, slide yourself slowly back. Now you've had the knees open for quite a while, so you want to slowly draw them in together, taking your time. And then from there, we're going to slide. If you want to do that first position that we did at the beginning, that sliding forward, you could do it that way, or you could just come onto all fours and lower down onto the belly that way. So either way, sliding forward, come up to baby cobra, and then exhale, release, big toes touch, heels to the side, and just take crocodile before we do anything else, as this is called our rebound. And what rebound is like, it's like letting the body release before we move into another stretch. So it's really important. especially when you take quite a deep hip stretch or opening. Very important to take that rebound. So we're going to do our back bend before we come into another twist. Very lucky, 2 twists back to back, that's great. So forearms along the floor, parallel to each other. And this is our Sphinx. Now for some of you with sensitive backs, you can take the arms further away and bring the palms together. So you're still in a back bend, it's just less. You can also bring the legs a bit wider. It brings it a little bit nice and softer in the back. So wherever you are, and whether you have your arms forward or the elbows underneath the shoulders, your heart is coming forward and your shoulder blades are squeezing together. So even if you have a sensitive back, they say that back bends are very healing and supportive for them. So we're going to hold for, let's say, 1.5 minutes. You've probably been about half, so we've got another minute. If you need to release, release. And those that like stronger, you can come up into seal, maybe for the last few breaths, but you could also do it now. Those that know it, I will not for myself, but you have that option. And then just focus on the breath and the feeling in the body. Coming into seal, there's the option. Lifting the forearms away from the body, just for a few more breaths here. A lot stronger. Those of you that need to come out, just come into your Cobra. That rest that you did before, last breath here. As you exhale, forearms, elbows out to the side, big toes touch. If you run onto one cheek, go on the other cheek, or forehead is great as well. And just breathe. Excellent. And then into that twist. So I think we did this before. I don't think it was last month, but it could have been. If you bring your right elbow out to the side, so your forearm, elbows are in line with the shoulder and the forearm at the right angle, and then you're going to slide your right knee towards your right elbow. Doesn't matter how far it comes. And then if you lift up, you're going to slide your left hand through and see if you can grab that right knee. It's a really tricky way, or a sneaky kind of way, to get into a side, a lying twist. So as you sweep that right arm overhead towards the left, now mine doesn't come down onto the floor, it's either the shoulder or the knee that's lifted. Now it depends where you want to feel it. If you want to feel it upper back, you want to press the shoulder down. If you want to feel it lower back, you press the knee down, right? And if you're lucky enough to have both parts down, then you'll get that from all the way nice and deep. Either way, I gaze up because it's better for my neck, but you can look over to the right hand. And yeah, just breathing here. I just love the way this one, we come in and out of this one. And then to release, slide that right hand back, bring it back into that position, coming onto your left forearm, find that kind of Sphinx position, and then slide that right leg back. Okay, so now left arm out to the left at a right angle, slide that left knee in towards that left elbow. Bring your right hand, thread it through to the left knee, and then slide that left arm overhead, finding your twist. So maybe the knee will lift or the shoulder will lift. Don't worry about it too much, just make sure this feels good. Okay, so you can adjust the body accordingly. Maybe pressing the shoulder down and lifting the knee. You can even prop the knee under a cushion or a blanket if there's one nearby. And then just breathe here. To release out of it. Left arm just goes back the way it came. And let's slide that left leg back. Find the hands underneath shoulders, just brief Cobra, rounding into cat and find that child's pose. You want to take yourself there slowly as it's a complete counter stretch to that back bend we did. But once you've found it, the arms can be forward or alongside the body, and for some of you it may even be resting on the body, so holding opposite hands around the lower back. And then slowly bring yourself up. I think it's a perfect time for a pigeon. Now, pigeon will look different for everybody. So, let's check the time. Different from that. Okay, so pigeon, you can either take it into a half pigeon, which is a seated version. If that feels good, if that doesn't feel good, you can even lie on the back and thread the needle. So lying on the back, your right ankle will be on top of your left knee, flexing the foot. You can pick up the foot and hug your thigh or your shin. Either way, you bring your left knee in and your right knee away from you, and that will get the stretch in that area that we're going to do in pigeon. So if you've not already come into pigeon, right knee, right wrist. Right foot slightly to the left and left leg back, in line with its hip. So hopefully it's nice and in line. You can always look back and then look forward. Now I like a little baby opener back bend before I come into the forward version. If that feels good, stay for a few breaths. If it doesn't, go straight down to forward fold. And then forward fold, rounding the elbows. Coming onto the hands and the head, resting on the hands on the floor. And just breathe. This one's a really nice one to just be in for at least a minute. I'll try at least a minute and a half for this one. It feels good. Of course, if it doesn't, you can always release out the way you went in, nice and slow. And I'll meet for the other side. Remember, the lying down version is much gentler, and it's great for the back because you're getting a little massage on the back. Time. And when we say massage, it's a pressure, and that pressure is probably, in my opinion, one of the best parts of the massage. A deep, kind of slow pressure that's working trigger points nicely, or acupressure points, so everything along the meridian lines in Chinese medicine. So yeah, it really is. It's not just, we don't just say it. It really is good for the back, that pressure and that even movement from side to side. But I've digressed. Let's come up onto the hands and slowly find yourself into that nice little back bend. And I like to slide. If you're on your backs, you just stay there and go to the other side. Slide the knees back. So really sliding that makes it easy. I don't know about yours, some do, some don't. And then you're going to bring your left knee to your left wrist if you're in pigeon, and the left foot slightly to the right so that there's space for the groin as the right leg goes back. And if you're on your back, remembering left ankle or right knee, hugging right knee or right shin or right thigh. Good. Little back bend if you do on the other side, if it feels good. If not, straight down. And then we'll all meet in that forward fold version. Hands on top of each other, maybe even fists. You could use cushions or blocks, and those that like to go a tiny bit further, the forehead can come onto the mat. And just breathe here on this other side. For about a minute and a half, about. Remembering to just tune in to the feeling. Once you've felt all there is, and just follow the breath. And then to come up, lift head, lift heart, come up onto the hands and walk yourselves all the way up. Now we're going to sit down onto that side and then slide that back knee in, and then you can straighten both legs and give them a nice tap up and down. If you're on your backs, you can come back up. You're going to do a straddle and then a side stretch. So we've done lots of side stretches today, so this will hopefully be a nice deep one. If you've got cushions or blocks around, they might be good. So, straightening the legs, bringing the legs out into a straddle position. Some of you with tightness in the back, you can sit on a block. Those of you with tightness behind under the legs, pop some blocks, cushions, blankets, whatever you've got. And if you want to feel it more, the toes could be flexed. If you want to feel it slightly easier, they could just release. Hands behind you, heart forward, shoulders back. That's one option. Going further, if you feel you could sit up straight without the hands as support, the hands can come forward and you either slide or walk them away. Doesn't matter. Now, when you do that, think about heart and belly and chest coming down first. For the head, because what that does, is keep the spine straight, but I know you know that anyway. It's funny because I repeat myself so much that I'm like, does it annoy them as much as it annoys yourself? But it probably doesn't. It's probably because I've just said it so many times. I know I forget how many times I say it in each class, you know. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Keeping the breath, you're feeling the stretch here mainly from the inner line all the way down, possibly toward the heel, depending how far forward you may be. You'll also get it along the back and the spine. So just breathe. It's strong, but also healthy. So it's a healthy stretch because it's not something the body does normal, naturally. Okay, sliding yourself back as you come up. We're going to slowly come out if you were forward folding by bringing your right foot in toward the groin. So here's a side stretch. So we'll side stretch to your left, so you'll feel the stretch on your right. If you bring your left hand anywhere along the line, if you have a bit more flexibility, it'll be towards the heel. Otherwise, it'll be towards the thigh for less. The right hand will come out to the right hip, and you'll just look over the right shoulder. If that feels good, stay there. Or if you want to go further, lift your right arm up and then lean it over to the left. Now that some of you may come down onto the forearm, if you can, you'll get a really good stretch. If not, just stay on the hands and the stretch is the same. Just less, and then choose a neck position. If the top arm gets tired, it can rest on the top of the head. Just breathe. Lift that right arm back up, and then releasing to lift the torso. We'll take a twist to that side, so twisting to your right, left hand across, and then release. Take your right leg out, take your time, and then you're going to bring your left heel towards the groin. Right hand anywhere along the line, left hand, left hip, look to the left. Lifting the arm, if you're going a little bit deeper, you can also lean to your left, maybe coming onto the forearm. Any gaze point. The arm could stay extended, or you could flex at the elbow and just release the arm into the head. Stretch for any of those positions is the same on this left side, and it should feel great. There's a muscle in there, you may have heard, the quadratus lumborum. It's very, very deep, and this is one of the main stretches that gets into it because it's so far into your body, and it gets very tight. Releasing up and lifting slowly and taking ourselves into the twist. So right hand across, left hand behind, sit tall and then look over that left shoulder. Releasing and bringing your knees in, give yourself a little hug. We're going to come down for the rest of the practice, so lying on our backs. So if you hug your shins, take your time rolling down, maybe using your core by reaching the arms out, going down slowly with as much control as you can. And then bend the knees, bring yourself into a little hug before, and that kind of massage pressure that we were talking about. So if you rock from side to side, you'll get that around the lumbar and sacrum area where there's loads of pressure points. And it just feels good on the hips and the lower back to do it. You can also change the direction or the area, you're pressing by making little circles. So as you bring the knees in towards you, you'll feel it maybe a little bit higher up and away from you lower down. Just feeling into that. If you go in one direction, just swap approximately the same on each side, creating symmetry. Amazing. And then bring the soles of the feet to the floor. So these are all kind of back releasey kind of stuff. Arms alongside the body, hips, strengthener, and also a little bit of a back bend. We're going to come up into bridge. If you've got a cushion or a block or something you can rest on under the sacrum, it'll make this one easier. But if you haven't got one around you like me, you can go into the more active pose. So heels underneath knees as you inhale, press your knees forward as you lift your hips. You might want to interlace the hands and slide yourself your shoulders closer. I find that one makes it easier for me to stay in this pose. Keep pressing the thighs up by using the strength and power of the hips and the thighs, the legs. Pressing down with the heels, pressing forward with the knees. And then to release the arms out beside you, roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Okay, so now, if you bring your right ankle to above your left knee or ankle, thigh, and then you're going to walk that left over to the left, right? And then you're going to take the knees down to the floor, so that right knee leads, taking the right ankle to the left knee, and then takes it all the way down. The stretch is mainly on this left side, so from the top of the hip all the way down on the outside line of the leg. So yeah, just hold and breathe. Both feet are flexed, protecting the knee joints. To release out of it, knees slowly come back up to the sky. You want to do the same on the other side, so walk that left foot in, right foot down, left ankle above right knee. Walk that foot over to the right. The more it goes over, the easier this becomes, and the more you'll get out of the stretch. So the knees go to the left, both feet are flexed. Don't worry if the knees don't touch the floor, you can bring something underneath as padding if you like. And just breathe. Love this stretch from the top of the right hip all the way down the outside line of the leg. Release out of it, take your time, bring those knees back in. Bring both feet down. Just take your time, but I think we're almost done. So let's just take a spinal twist a minute. So if you bring your knees into the chest, give it one last squeeze, maybe even bring the head in towards the knees. And then release the head back down, bring your arms out to the side at a kind of T-shape or shoulder distance. Then the knee's going to go to the right. Now my knees are high up. The higher up they come, the more you'll feel this low down. that doesn't feel right, just bring them more to kind of hip level, and that might feel better. And you can also choose to straighten the legs, those of you that wish to go a little bit deeper, and you can take that right hand to the left foot or top foot and look over to the left. If that doesn't feel good in the neck, you could look up. So lots of options. You could also hold the top of the leg. Release it. Look up to center if you weren't already. Bend the knees if they were straight. And everybody bring them back to center. Find a neutral spine, maybe even hug the knees for a squeeze. Then go over to the left. So knees will go to the left, gaze will go either straight up or the right. And if you have the space, you can straighten the legs. If you did on the other side and it felt good. And just breathe wherever you are. These are so good for the spine, so it's good to spend a little bit longer in them. Gaze to center, knees to center, and hug those knees in. So physically, we are almost done. I'm going to just take, if there's anything you feel you want to add in before we come into final resting pose, then great, just throw it in. Never feel you have to just stop there when you feel the body needs something else. Anyway, if you're ready to find resting position, let's all start with the legs straight and the arms straight, because we're going to do tense and release. So this is a lovely last little energizer that we're going to do. So if you bring the legs away from the floor, just an inch or a centimetre, it doesn't matter, tighten all of the legs, squeeze, maybe squeeze the toes, or spread them, every part of the legs, straight inhale, and exhale, let them drop. Do the same with the arms. Lift them off the floor by about a centimetre to an inch. Squeeze the fists of the hands together. Make the whole muscles tight. Breathe in. And exhale, let them drop. Do the same with the bum. Lift it off the floor. Clench it. Squeeze as you breathe in. And exhale, let it drop. Lift the chest up. Away from the floor, lift it up towards the sky, arch the upper back, breathe in, and exhale, let it drop. Bring your shoulders up by your ears and squeeze them up into I don't know, breathe in, and out, releasing them down. Now lastly, you want to screw up all the muscles in the face. And make it all into a tight little ball. Breathe in. And out, relaxing, let go. Great, and then you can find your final resting position. So whether that be where you are, exactly as you are, or you could bend the knees and take TP knees, making it a little bit nicer. Wherever you are, just close your eyes and tune back in. So we try to tune in throughout the class, but this and the beginning are really all about feeling, listening, and breathing. So noticing all of those. And sometimes a thought will come up And that is also part of our practice. So we notice when those thoughts come up. If you can catch it immediately, then it should just easily disappear. If it's run into a stream of thoughts, once you've caught it, once you've noticed, again, just watch it disappear. And notice as that one thing disappears, there is this moment, hopefully, of just complete stillness, nothing. And not attaching to it, because knowing that something will come up, but just noticing it as you do that beautiful, peaceful silence. And this is really about cultivating, or maybe bringing that into a longer period before something else comes up. And some days you'll be nice and quiet, and other days will be incredibly active in the mind. So don't worry, don't judge, don't compare, just enjoy where you're at today, noticing it all as part of your practice. So not trying to ever run away from the thinking mind, just noticing it once you've noticed, oh yes, I'm thinking again. And then notice it disappear as you've noticed. So all just part of the practice. Take a few minutes of silence just to explore, experience, and breathe. And it's from here, you want to bring awareness wherever you are back to your breath. Keeping your eyes closed, just start to deepen the breathing as you do expand all quarters of the belly, and then exhale, let it fall down and in. And then start to move your fingers and toes. Bring the feet together and the arms overhead, have a full body stretch. Bring your knees in, give yourself a squeeze. And then roll onto your right side and rest there for a few breaths. And slowly press your way up to sitting. So we come back in a circle or a cycle. Finding that cross-leg position, lengthening the spine as you relax and melt the shoulders down. Take a moment to bring the hands at your heart to prayer. Feel the heat and energy between your own hands. And just take a moment of gratitude for yourself, so your body, your breath, your practice, your discipline, and for each other for sharing a practice. Even though virtually, it's really still as strong when a practice is together. So inhale and exhale, bow down. Namaste. your head and heart. Keep your eyes closed, rub your hands together. And then when you're ready, cup the hands over your eyes and breathe in. As you exhale, release. Open the eyes when you're ready. Coming back. So thank you all. Have a beautiful Sunday or whatever day this is you're practicing on. Any questions, send them my way and enjoy. Okay, bye.